Super crabby.
What's super crabby? Hey, Facebook, I'm not crabby this week. What's going on? My cherry hat on.
Krabby Patty.
And I don't have a migraine headache this week. Boom, we're here.
Yay.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 shows. We're going to do listener questions. We're going to do Trapped in Fantasyland, as requested by one of our listeners last Wednesday.
Okay, so remind me what that is.
Yeah, I didn't want to sound like an idiot.
How would you spend an entire day in Fantasyland?
Got it. Okay, got it.
Like what attractions would you do? Character meets?
Easy.
How would you see the fireworks if possible? Which you can.
Perfect.
There's a lot going on in Fantasyland.
There is a lot going on in
You guys spend the
Fantasyland.
day, but you can't leave
Do we
Fantasyland.
get to count Storybook Circus as part of Fantasyland?
Yeah, so we have this is a cakewalk, man.
Yes, we got
Yeah.
this.
Then
Yes,
we're gonna Liberty
yes, it
Square.
is.
You're like, oh man, they're gonna see Hall of Presidents 7 times a day.
Right? And they're seeing Hall of Presidents again. And they're catching
And
a
they're
puppet
eating
show.
at Liberty Tree.
Yeah.
A little outdoor area outside of Columbia Harbor House.
Well, I mean, the Liberty Bell is still
I think there's
broken right now.
actually more there than you think.
The the Liberty Bell Riverboat is still down for refurbishment. So
Oh, you could sleep on it. I don't know. Whatever.
there you go. All right, that works.
All righty. So, Tim, Tracy. Hey, Tracy, I know it's late night. So let us know where you tuned in and in the comments there, because we see a lot of folks joining us. So give us a shout where you're listening and tuned in. We're going to shout you out, and then we're going to get going here. Let me get the first
We're ready to go.
question just came in today, and it's a pretty good one.
Oh, that's exciting.
Like I saw it, and I'm like, oh, we got to answer this one. This is good.
Oh, I can do mine. Hold on. Ew.
Donna, hey Donna, this is our pastor at our church's wife.
Oh, that's exciting.
She's recovering from hip surgery. So
Ooh.
Oh, no.
I know. So hopefully you're feeling better, Donna. I missed you at church yesterday, and I know you probably said you've missed me at church the last like 5 weeks. I apologize. It's been crazy. Now he's been hearing
I have
everything.
my hat too.
Why are you trying to copy me? Why?
I have my hat too, because it was easy
Ian
to read.
Forrester doesn't have one of these because I only got 5 of them from her.
I got mine from Pam Forrester
I know,
too.
it's like she supplies us. All right, so thanks,
You
Ron.
get a hat.
Those- Down in T-Town, Tuscaloosa.
Mine was easy to reach. That's why I went for it. I have my other one. I'm gonna wear another day, but yeah.
See, Mark is tuned in. Is he at home? I guess. Hey, Justin, what's going on? You guys got good snow down there. Tracy, of course, is over in Wales.
Woohoo!
I'm not even going to try to say where Jamie's from. I'll say Wisconsin.
All right, that was good. I don't think
I'm
that was
sure
it.
that's what it
I
was.
see.
I'm sure that's what
I
it was.
don't think that was it.
Wait, I got Amy's. O'Fallon, Missouri.
I got that one too. Yeah, I can say that one.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Actually, where one of my favorite restaurants is Kataro out on Texas.
Oh, there you go.
So good. Okay.
Mike, speaking of your favorite restaurants, we now not that we didn't have one nearby, but I have one even closer now. Not a Taco Bell, because Brian and I. By the way, Brian and I went to Taco Bell a couple of nights ago, and it was the biggest mistake. We were just like, oh, this was awful idea.
It's always a mistake later, but like right now I'm craving it.
Terrible decision. But no, we are getting a Texas Roadhouse so close to my house. I'm so excited. So excited.
Thank you to the listener who hooked me up with a little Texas Roadhouse love too, by the way.
Why does Mike get all the love? I don't understand this.
So good.
Mike's not that great. Pam and I, we're the awesome ones here. I don't understand.
Those Katara so good. So good.
Mike's not that great. I'm just saying.
Elaine's got her hat on too, copying me too. What's up, ladies? Copying me.
Sorry.
I'm trying to be original here. I'll bust out the princess one next week, I guess.
Good. I have my hat for next
Did
week.
I tell you guys I'm running princess? Yes.
Yes, you
Yeah.
did. It's exciting.
Multi-sport race I haven't done. Exeter, New Hampshire, Adam up there. We sent a bunch of our students to Exeter to a school up there when I was a gifted teacher. It was always a big deal. Like somebody got in Exeter. That was a big deal. I didn't have any idea much what that meant, but I knew it was a good school. All right, let's do questions. I'm so excited because I don't have a headache. I've been looking forward to this all day. Because last week it was just like, I love doing the show, but I didn't get to. And then Ricky's mic, and that was about to kill her.
I know.
It wasn't her fault. She doesn't know. Don't call her and yell at her. So if the show's kind of
She has a broken computer that is still broken, so they got to replace the motherboard on it.
But if the show sounded sketch last week, I apologize. The Monday or the Wednesday.
That was this girl's fault for breaking her computer by touching it and having static electricity kill the computer. So that was my fault.
Question.
No, that's actually what happened. Static electricity killed my computer.
You need a little wrist thing that they do when you mess with electronics. You just got to wear it 24/7. Okay, here we go. Samantha's up first.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I got to tell everybody in the chat. So if you're a lizard, And if you just don't have anything to do, Wednesday night, we're going to do something special for an upcoming podcast because I had a cancellation this Wednesday. So I got a podcast on Wednesday, or else I get all out of. I'm a man of routines.
Oh yeah, we all know that. Don't we, Pam?
If I don't do the same,
don't we, Pam? We know that.
I'm a little bit like Rain Man, like I gotta have my Kmart underwear. It's like
I think you're in trouble because I don't think there's Kmart anymore.
Gotta have Jeopardy at 4:30. Anyway, so I'm going to open up the phone lines. I think Ricky might be there too. Pam,
Maybe.
I think I'm going on, but we're going to be here. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up the phone lines and take questions about Marathon Weekend 2019. So if you have any questions about if you're a first-time runner, if you've done it before, have any questions, or if you want to call in and give advice or talk about what you're excited for Marathon Weekend, we're going to have a live show for about 30 minutes, Wednesday night, 7:15 Eastern-ish. No, it'll be closer to that.
No, yeah.
We'll be right on that time. So join us. So this Wednesday night, which will be, what is today? That'll be the 12th. So we're going to take your calls on the phone lines and in the chat, and we're going to record a show. But we need you to call in. That makes the podcast better. It's a podcast. So Wednesday night, spread the word. I'm going to put it on the Lizard page when we're done here.
I mean, Mike and I could talk, but
What are my thoughts on double wide strollers? I fit like a glove in those things.
I don't think that's what they're talking about.
I know. Maybe a little more clarification there, Will Lesage. I fit like a glove in a double wide, little tight in a single wide. All right, here we go. 1419. Oh, I love doing this stuff. Welcome to episode 1419 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel, who right now this time of year, if you're watching the live stream over on Facebook or you go to YouTube to check this out post podcast, you can see that, the owners of the agency make us little elves, Santa's little helpers this time of the year, because we can help you put a tree under the tree. Still, you know what? And I said this in the ad read for Friday's podcast, but it's kind of the ultimate gift if you want to do two things. One, you're a terrible procrastinator. You know what? This can
Mike Roman.
Look like you're playing this thing out in September. You can probably do this on the 23rd of December, and it still looks great. And two, you want that epic gift that the family will be talking about for the next 50 years. Remember that year that we went to Walt? Yeah, that's what you're going to do. So anyway, I'm excited. I got my Santa hat on, so hey, let's do this. Let's plan a Disney vacation. But right now, we're here to answer your listener questions. We're going to have a good time today. Again, I apologize for last week. I know it sounded a little sketch. I had some audio issues I tried to fix in post. I think we fixed those this week. And you know what? I got rid of the migraine headache that I had last week. I looked at the video. I was pale as a ghost. I looked
you were absolutely
You
pale.
did not look good. You did not look good.
But you know what? I'm Cal Ripken. I'm not missing the streak. It was horrible, but probably had like 5 errors. But you know what? I was in the lineup. So there you go. So today we're going to do better and answer your listener questions. Ricky's joining us from a Disney World after all that.
It doesn't matter where I'm from. I'm from the Mouse for Lesson touring plans at this point.
Right.
So
You're copying me from my head. So what's going on, Ricky? I love it.
Oh my goodness. Well, still without the computer, so that's exciting. Need a new motherboard, which is super thrilling. Yeah, so just getting ready to celebrate the holidays with the fam. Going up to the STL this weekend. So I'm really excited about doing that. Actually, I'm going to Jefferson City, Missouri. Woo! Nothing like that.
Yeah, and go. You know what? I wanted to see the governor's mansion because we have a new governor because our other one had to leave office. And this new governor, Mike Parsons, he seems like a nice guy, and he's really, really kind of the opposite of our former governor, where he's really inviting Missourians to come see the mansion. They've decorated for the holidays, which has always been something you can do in Missouri. Cool. But I mean, he's really reaching out. So maybe you want to do that while you're in town. It looks like it's going to be wonderful.
I don't think I will be.
I won't go all the way out there. I go to Columbia enough, and that's just as far.
But I will definitely be in Jefferson City. So.
All right. Also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. She is the chief elf this time of year. Santa's major helper. We have Pam Forster. What's going on, Pam?
So, like you, Mike, this is like the only thing that my family is talking about that they want for the Christmas this year is a trip. Those little memes that you've seen everywhere, like my size. You want to know my size? It's size 7 nights at the Polynesian or whatever. I mean, seriously. So I don't know. My family's been good at this, but Steve just sent me an article that was actually written by a bona fide psychologist, saying that the presents that you give that are experiences really impact your children in a good way. They do not need one more thing. And if you were a parent, like I was a parent when Hannah was little, I would say this all the time. She does not need one more thing. She is taking over the house with her stuff. So anyways, consider, doing an experience. It doesn't have to be travel. It could be a museum membership. It could be, whatever local thing is in your area. I get it. Those kind of things are really, really important to kids. And I think it's a great idea. We always did lots of experiences or tried to.
Absolutely. It's the memories you make and those photos you're going to have forever. And,
Right.
I can't remember because we were talking about this, Pam and I, what was Mallory's big gift last year? We figured it, it took us forever to remember that, but you remember trips and you remember experiences. So anyway, all right, let's get to today's listener questions. That's why you're here, not to hear us yak on, but we do that.
Yeah, sure you are.
This one came in just today, but I had to put it at the top of the queue because Samantha needs a little advice. Okay, so she's panicking, and when you got panic, I feel bad. So here we go. Title of the email: brand new to Disney and not a clue what to do. So there you go. I'll get you all right, she says, hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. I'm a brand new listener and wish I'd found you sooner. I'm binging your podcast and love it. Well, my husband and I decided on a whim a few months ago to go to Florida on vacation and spend 2 days in Orlando, and are going to Disney one day and SeaWorld one day before heading to the beach. I'm 32 years old and have never been to Disney, all caps. Just so you know, all caps.
Got it.
Darth Vader, breathe a little less. No, just kidding. You got a little heavy breathing going on there. So
I'm going back. See, we had problems before. I'm going back.
Listeners are like, okay, Ricky, you're getting excited over this.
I am getting excited. All right.
Okay, good. And now I'm so sad we aren't going to Disney more than one day, but we honestly didn't know our 3-year-old son and 1.5-year-old daughter how they would do. Again, decided on a whim. Now I'm like, what was I thinking after listening to your podcast of not planning more Disney time? Look at that. We're working. It works. Regardless, she says, we want to pack as much into this day as we can. Try not to miss too much for our kiddos. So here's the plan. We are going Tuesday, May 7th, 2019 to the Magic Kingdom only. We plan to rope drop and get there an hour before opening. We're on the right track. Good. Head straight to Peter Pan first without a fast pass, and then ride any rides over there we can without using a fast pass first thing, and then hoping to book fast passes 30 days out between 10 and 1 for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, if my son is tall enough, Buzz Lightyear, and Pirates of the Caribbean. How does this sound? And then after we use those three, use an additional one for Barnstormer, Jungle Cruise, Enchanted Tales with Belle, etc., one after the other. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing and don't want to run around like a chicken with my head cut off there. Also, any tips or tricks you can give me for one day in the Magic Kingdom with toddlers, or beat the fast passes for their ages or best fast passes, I guess I should say, would be much appreciated. Thanks again and love the show. You guys cracked me up. Samantha's a fellow Midwesterner, but again, she doesn't know us enough to tell us like what part of the Midwest she's in. She's like, I'll give a region, but I'm not going to give you my state. So like, she's like, I'm not even going to tell you I'm in Nebraska or like, Iowa. She's like, you can figure that out. So I like it, Samantha. You haven't listened long enough. We aren't dangerous, but I probably wouldn't give your address either. So anyway, so they're going one day, May 7th. And you know what? I think she's actually got the thing she's doing right. This is a tough spot, man. Mm-hmm. It is. But I mean, you got to think about it is this is like an appetizer because you're going to go back. I'm telling you are going to go back. Kids are at the perfect age. They will be for the next 10 years. Actually, for the next lifetime. If I'm 45, I'm at the perfect age to still go. May 7th, it shouldn't be extremely crowded. I mean, that's a pretty good time to go. Good weather. Mm-hmm. Got a plan of being there before rope drop an hour early. Bingo, that's awesome. Going to, saving those fast passes for 10 to 1. I like that. So Pam, take it over from there. What is she doing right? What does she need to think about?
So I think the challenge is going to be for her initially when I heard her plans is that you probably will not get Seven Dwarfs at 30 days. Not at a time that allows you to get other fast passes that day. Because in the morning I'm not going to say guaranteed because there's always a chance for that, but at 30 days, it's a challenge to get that. So what you may want to do is plan on doing Seven Dwarfs in that morning hour when you first get there. I would head to it soon after, park opening, if not the first attraction that you go to experience, and try that. And other than that, I think that you probably, I'm going to say that I think it may be easier for you to get fast passes for Buzz Lightyear and Pirates of the Caribbean than some of the more popular attractions later in the day. Like when I do a rolling fast pass, I can usually get one for Pirates and Buzz.
Yes.
So I would look at maybe some of the other popular attractions that you may want to do in for your first fast passes of the day. If you're going to do Space Mountain, I would absolutely consider that one. If you're going to do Splash, that may be another one that you want to consider. Big Thunder may be another one that you want to be able to consider. And I absolutely agree with your strategy of hitting your first fast pass around 10:30 or so, and then trying to get them one right after the other. That may take a lot of tweaking, but just keep trying, and something may happen for that.
And here's too, even though you only have one day with an almost 4-year-old and a toddler, like I think the other kids are around 2, 1.5. The thing is, you can't go rope drop to close. Those kids can't handle that. You will be frazzled as well. So the thing is, you still have to build in. What I would make sure I do, even if I eat at Liberty Tree Tavern, or I would get a sit-down meal, Tony's. Be Our Guest might be a challenge, but if you can get that, that'd be a cool experience. Cinderella's Roll Table, hey, you're going once, go big. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, have a sit-down meal, because that might be one of the most memorable, and if it could be a character meal, bonus. And here's the other thing you might want to consider. I know you might not want to think about this, but it might be time well used. Step outside the Magic Kingdom for maybe dinner, if it's open late enough, or lunch, maybe a late lunch, and kind of like make it a dinner and kind of combine the two. Go for a character meal at the Contemporary, the Polynesian, or the Grand, and that gets you out of the madness for just a little bit. Get a good meal, get some pictures with characters, go back in, and then tackle the park that way with rolling fast passes. So Ricky, what else might you offer? Because I think Samantha's on the right track. I just think that she'd be tempted to wear herself out, because with one day, that's what you do. I would say this, and I'd probably try to kill myself.
Oh, absolutely. And you would, I get it where you would feel like you are missing out, especially since you only have one day if you left the park. So I agree with you in the fact that I think maybe, try to make sure you have a sit down meal or something like that. But I would probably stick with inside the Magic Kingdom. I make sure you kind of also take time to kind of relax a little bit during the day. I know that's really hard to do, especially since you know that you're only going to be there for one day. Just know you are not going to see everything. I mean, go into it knowing that there is absolutely no way to do this and see everything. It's just not going to happen. So the Fast Pass game I am well skilled at. So basically all you need to do is, as soon as you use your Fast Pass for the attraction that you're waiting in line for. So say you just scan your Fast Pass for Pirates, start getting on the app, start trying to make your next Fast Pass. You can do that while you're waiting in line, and it makes it so much easier for you to get that next Fast Pass. So that way, you can stack them like she was hoping to be able to do. You're right, but I think that I definitely have no trouble with, getting Fast Passes for Buzz Lightyear or Pirates of the Caribbean or things like that. But it sounds like she is a little worried because she's got the little ones. So I think maybe she was thinking that maybe she can't do things like Big Thunder or, Splash Mountain. But the height requirements are pretty, they try to get them so that they're a little bit lower for kiddos. Now, granted, you will probably have to use rider swap or something like that. But that might be something that you consider as well, keeping that in your back pocket to know that you can use that too. But you're going to have a great time. Absolutely. Just enjoy soaking up those memories. Definitely try to make sure you get character meet and greets, because your kiddos are, I think, at the right age. Hopefully they won't be scared and you're going to have a fantastic time.
Yeah, I think they'll remember the character meet and greets more than, even the attractions when they get home at that age. Remember when I met Buzz, or remember when I met insert whatever. All right, so let me get to this next question here. For some reason, like it's fading. Justin, I'll get to your question here in a second. Let me get to this other one here. It says, help me, BOGP crew. You're my only hope. It's from Michelle, who's in Pittsburgh. There you go, Keystone State. Hey there, my husband and I are running our first Run Disney race for the Star Wars 5K in April of 2019. I have some questions I'm hoping you can answer in order to make this experience as good as it can be. Do you have any advice on picking up our bibs at the ESPN Center, for example? Is there a best time to go when it's less busy? All right, let me answer this. You got 3 parts. So the temptation is, now here's, you got two schools of thought here, Michelle. One, you can go like right when the expo opens. That's a trap. It's like Admiral Akbar said. He wasn't talking about the shield being up on the second Death Star. He was talking about going at expo opening. It's a trap. Nothing. Anyway.
I'm ignoring you, yes.
I love this.
Like I always do. I'm ignoring you.
Anyway.
We're trying not to reward behavior.
Exactly.
We're doing, we have an extinguishing protocol in place. Ricky and I talked about this beforehand. Any behavior that we don't want to see repeated, we just ignore it. Hello.
Exactly.
You were a teacher for a long time. You should know this.
I know. We are so family. That is exactly what family we do to me.
We're like,
Yeah, I was like,
okay.
I don't wanna reward that.
You picture an Admiral Akbar in my head, like sitting on the deck. Anyway, so here's why you would go at opening of the expo if you want to get things that are limited edition, like pins. You know, if you're really into the collectibles, because sometimes every once in a while things will sell out. They have quite a bit though. If you go the first day, usually you'll get it. What I like to do, and it's hard because you see people like if you go to the parks and you say, I'm going to do what Mike said, and I'm going to go about an hour and a half before closing. What happens is you go to a park in that day and you're like, I'll go later and enjoy the park in the morning. In the afternoon, you'll see people start rolling in with like all their merchandise and you're like, oh, I got to get me a jacket or I got to get me, this or that. They're going to sell out and you start getting antsy. But I've gone like an hour before expo closing. Nobody's there. You don't have to wait to get your bibs. You can buy anything you want. Just about most stuff's still there. You might miss out on a couple collectibles, but you know what? You can get a jacket or a hoodie or whatever, whatever you're looking for. And it's a great time. You can enjoy it. And there's just not much going on. So there's not as much traffic. So I like to go like an hour before closing of the day, but do what you want. Tell me what you decide. If Admiral Akbar was right. Just a second. We're staying at the Beach Club for the first time. And we're wondering what's the best way to get to our resort. To the starting line, we will take a bus because you cannot walk through Epcot. So unfortunately, I know it's like awesome. Like you're like, yeah, I'm staying in, Boardwalk Beach Club, Yacht Club, Swan Dolphin. I could just walk through Epcot. It's like 3:00 in the morning. You can't. You got to catch a bus, but it's okay. It's fine. Maybe most importantly, what should we dress up as? Thank you for all you do, and may the force be with you. Michelle's in Pittsburgh. All right, Ricky, the running Star Wars 5K. What should they dress up as?
You asked the one person who doesn't care about Star Wars what they. No. I mean, it's going to be warm, so warm-ish in April. Although it is in early April this year, but I would do pairing costumes. So maybe think
of a couple. Ricky.
I don't not stormtroopers. That would be terrible to run in.
What about like what if one of them was what was that little fuzzy thing called from The Last Jedi? A porg. What if you have like a porg and one person's Chewbacca? And like
that would be cute.
It's in the porg. That'd be kind
of
fun.
That would be cute.
What do you
See,
think? Pam's she's a Star Wars fan.
I know. Furry people though, and I think
it's cold.
You can like do brown and white and
yeah, that's true. You gotta kind of cosplay it in that space. So, and those are the most. Those are the costumes I actually like seeing the most. Some of them, you look at them and you're like, I know and then it takes you a moment to think, I love those costumes. Yes. I think really I love costumes that sort of complement each other in one way or another. So the Chewbacca and the porg thing would absolutely work for me. I'm still so bitter about the Luke Skywalker dying that I can't talk about it.
Spoiler alert. I mean,
except to say that I'm bitter about it. So I still am right there. I still love Rogue One so much that I would love to see those characters represented more in all the stuff. That would personally make me really happy. So.
That movie was so depressing. That's so sad. It's like
it was so good, though. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
The story was fantastic, and no one died because they got real tired.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's true. Trust me, I've been dead 7 times over this week. All right.
Seriously.
I'm going to try to read it. So we can't see Ricky on the feed, but I'm going to read it because I
well.
read here for a second. It says, okay, here's my dilemma. I have a reservation at Cape May Cafe and Sebastian's Bistro at the same time for dinner. I love Sebastian's, and it has been years since I have been to Cape May. I can't decide which one drops since I haven't figured out how to do both at once. I'm trying. So basically, Sebastian's Bistro or Cape May Cafe, Pam.
So we ate at Sebastian's and had a really good meal. I loved the restaurant. I love the look of it. I love where it is. That whole area of Caribbean Beach, like seriously, when you walk into Caribbean Beach, it's like, oh my goodness gracious, is this the same resort?
Yes.
It looks lovely. I love that area now. And we absolutely had such great service there too. So our waiter was fantastic. So for many reasons, I think I would give Sebastian's a try, especially if you haven't been there yet. I don't know if you have or not, but if you haven't, I would give it a shot and see what you say. And I would love to say that I hope that this kind of cooking sort of rolls out to other restaurants, because I got the jerk chicken when I was there, and it actually had a little kick to it.
Oh my goodness!
It was so good.
At first, I started eating it, and I was like, okay, these aren't bad. You know, they're not too spicy. And then, like, as I continued with the next chicken wing, my mouth was a little tingly. And then as I got to the third chicken wing, my mouth was on fire. It's like, whoa, these have a lot of kick to them. So there's a little.
That's good. It's good to see that. So yeah, lots of good things to choose from. But again, look at the menu here. Look at the menu over in the Mouse for Less, and check it out and see. But I really would give the nod to Sebastian's. If nothing else, then it's new, and that's exciting.
Yeah, because I mean, it is exciting to go to the new place. You know, I would say that.
Truly is. Yep.
You agree? I'd try Sebastian's. Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the only thing is that Sebastian's is not seafood. So just keep that in mind. Like, it sounds like it's seafoody. It's not very
seafood. That's not seafood at all.
Not really. It was more Caribbean inspired. So if you're looking for seafood, then you want to go to Cape May Cafe. It was. There wasn't a lot of seafood on the menu. It's not like Cape May is. So
no, but they had a great crab cake. Trying to think what else. I think there definitely was like a fish of the day for that. So no, it's not all seafood. It really is Caribbean inspired. It has a lot of different choices for you, but I think you'll be able to find something probably.
All right, so I meant to put this in at the last question, but I want to make this announcement for those folks who are like Andrew. If you're listening to the show on Wednesday, it's meant to be listened to this evening, Wednesday night, December 12th. We're going to be doing a live call-in. So watch the Facebook page, watch Twitter, Instagram. We're going to have all the information there. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a show previewing Marathon Weekend 2019 because we're inside of a month. So what I'm going to be doing is sitting here in the studio. I believe Ricky's going to be joining me.
I'll be trying.
I'm going to be taking your calls. If you have any questions about Marathon Weekend 2019, I'll be doing my best to answer those questions. I've run Dopey now 3 times. This will be my 4th. The mechanics of getting down there, how to get to the races, what to expect at the expos, what to expect in the crowd, stuff like that. And also, if you're an experienced runner, hey, call in, give some advice to our first-time runners. It's just going to be kind of a 30 to 40-minute show that we're going to put out on the podcast feed, because the holidays are coming up. We need to get some content there. So it'll be something well before Marathon Weekend to get us all excited for Marathon Weekend, but also to answer any questions you might have. To see a lot of them in the Facebook chat right now. So if you could join us this Wednesday, okay, so it's tonight, December 12th, 7:15 Eastern, we're going to be taking your calls. So please plan on that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, next question. Let me get to it. And what did I do with it? It is from Lisa. She says, or Lisa, I should say, 10 years of monorail snacks. Hi. I've been a listener for almost a year, and your podcast is the highlight of my commute to work. Well, thank you so much. Each year for the last 3 years, we visit the world a day before we go to the beach for a week. This June, we'll be staying one extra day, and we'll be enjoying our resort, the Wilderness Lodge, one day, and the Magic Kingdom the next day. I have 2 questions. One, we're celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary while we're there. Congratulations. We are hoping to have a balcony with a fireworks view as we did last year. Since our 2 and 5-year-old will need to go to bed early, I was hoping to have a cheese, check this out, Ricky, charcuterie plate. I got it.
Yes,
No,
you got it.
I've heard that word before. And champagne with my husband to celebrate this milestone on our balcony. I would love for it to be delivered and easy to make a surprise. What recommendations do you have? The girls and I love Disney more than my husband, so I thought this would be a nice low-key thing to do to celebrate. All right, so she has a second question. So, Ricky, can you get a charcuterie plate and champagne? I mean, how would you get that up on your balcony if you're staying at Wilderness Lodge kind of catching the fireworks there? If you get a good
I mean, does the room service offer a charcuterie board? I'm not entirely sure. If not, I mean, you'll have to sneak down and go to like Pam, what's the lounge there? Territory Lounge.
Territory Lounge.
Yeah, and see if they have because I know that they have a charcuterie board there, I think. And of course they'd have champagne. So that's the only other thing I can think of. Pam, can you think of anything?
So there is at Wilderness Lodge, there is a sort of store that has grocery items. So, and they typically have like blocks of certain cheeses. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to get like a real fancy cheese, but they'll probably have like some cheddar or some Munster or something like that. And they also have like different lunch meats. Now, a charcuterie plate, this is not, but it may be something that you're able to get there. The other thing is, Geyser Point does, and Roaring Fork does some takeout. Now, again, the charcuterie plate is not typically an option at Roaring Fork, but you might be able to pick out something that you could take up to your room that might be easier to get up there. I'm just not sure, how the lounges deal with like takeout as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So consider that. The champagne you'll probably be able to get in the grocery store sort of area too. They'll carry certain kinds of champagne, so consider that. The other thing is that you can work with, if money is no object here, you can work with private dining. And they can actually make things happen that aren't on the menu. But again, this is something that would turn out to be a pricey option, but you want what you want, right? So
you only celebrate 10 years once on your balcony.
That's right.
That's right. So you can go ahead and talk with them about that as well.
All right, our second question. Our first night there, we want to take our girls on the monorail for the first time and do our own snack/dinner food tour. By the way, rumbling is happening for it's kind of off topic, but kind of same thing. The cheer moms, which I'm not in this group, I just hear through Pam, because we're going down because we've got a bid to Summit, which I don't know any of that means other than I get to do Cinco de Mayo at Epcot. I'm excited. And I'll be cheering for Platinum.
Enjoy waiting in line at La Cava del Tequila.
I'll be happy, man. Anyway, so the moms are starting to think about doing like a monorail crawl. So I'm like, oh, where I can hook you up. We'll get that squared away. So anyway, so she's also asking for a snack dinner food tour on the monorail. We'd like to get something from each, the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, and the Contemporary. We're looking for unique but kid-friendly 2 and 5-year-old palettes. Counter service/snack suggestions at each place for all of us to share. Thanks so much, Lisa. Oh, wait, she's in the sweetest town in America. What would
Hershey, PA.
Is that really what it's called? I just made that up.
Yeah, Hershey, PA. Actually, my sister was born in Hershey.
Oh my! Is she sweet?
She really likes chocolate.
She did not answer the question of if her sister's sweet, though.
Oh, yes, she can be sweet. She can be very sweet.
That was a very good way to answer that question. All right. So anyway, so what I would say, okay, let's each take one resort. I'm going to take the Contemporary because it's easiest. With 2 and 5-year-olds, you have that. It's almost like a Big Top Treats kind of light in the B. Kid always messes up. Isabel Bibbo, BBB. The little store that has 3 initials.
Buena Vista something, yeah. Gifts, BVG, yeah.
Buena Vista Boutique, Buena Vista Gifts,
Buena
Vista BVG.
Now everybody's got that. Always. Anyway, so yeah, I would go there and get snacks out of that little glass case because they have like the dipped apples and all those kind of cool confectionery things. Kids like that. I think you would have a good time there. So that'd be a good snack for the contemporary. Ricky, you're up for the Polynesian. What are you going to get the Polynesian that's kid friendly?
Oh, I mean, go down to Captain Cook's and they have a ton of great options there. But my personal favorite is the Polynesian nachos that they have. They've got pulled pork and pineapple, and they have the best chips ever. And I think that they can be kid friendly. So those are really good. But they have lots of other things that are kind of Polynesian inspired on the menu too, in case. Or if you really want, if you're in the mood for ice creamy type stuff, you can go get a Dole Whip too.
And I was just thinking sweets though, because they're from the sweetest town in the world, so probably used to it. But that'd also be like getting Los Fuentes at Disney. I get that all the time at home. You don't want that. All right, Pam, you have the Grand. What are you getting for a snack that's kid friendly?
So they actually have a really nice pastry case there at Gasparilla Grill that has typically a few different kinds of cupcakes, some desserts. They have some interesting desserts and they have a big case of desserts actually on the other side too. So I don't think you'll have any problem finding something there to get, at the Grand Floridian. People always think, oh, the Grand Floridian is stuffy and not kid friendly. I've seen children running through that lobby just like any other lobby on property. There'll be lots of things for you to get. So
even better, I've seen parents scold their kids in the lobby, so you won't be the only one. So that's even better than kids running through. And I used to think it was stuffy, and I don't anymore. I think it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice. And they have some coffee drinks there as well for the parents, as so consider that, like some different ones sometimes. So.
And I got to send a shout out to my buddy Scott, who our picture just came up with our Don't Stop Believing Santa matching shirts on from a couple of years ago. We were running hot chocolate, maybe it was last year. And I just got to say, he kind of came up with the idea for the girls, our girls, Emily and Mel, to have a morning at the Ivy Trellis up at the Grand Floridian. And that was one of the best days we ever had. I really didn't even know that place existed. It was basically like a Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique experience, but for like a little bit slightly older crowd, like a 10-year-old. And I mean, they treated them like princesses. It was amazing. And that was kind of the day that we spent some time at the Grand and really got to have a good time. And we got to have tea too last year.
I think that they are now, I think it's at the Ivy Trellis where they're now offering that same idea, kind of like the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but for older kids, for adults as well. I think that's where they're offering that. So if you are ever looking to kind of...
From a guess, Ricky, you just answered it. I hope she's listening. I said to email. I can't remember where that is. It's the Ivy Trellis. That would make sense.
Yeah, I think it's at Ivy Trellis. So they do like adult hair and makeup too. So not just for kids or teens. So that's kind of an interesting option for those who are looking for something fun to do on maybe a girls' weekend or something like that.
You can do that with the tea, man. That's like a... Really
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Ricky, we're covering you up there. You got to kind of sit up tall so we can still see you while I pop this up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Just out on the bottoms. Mackenzie says in the live chat, she says, Ricky, where are all the painting classes around Walt Disney World? Any other fun classes? I've thought about wine bar George classes, paddlefish cooking class, any others that you can think of. And I know that with Festival of the Arts coming up, if you're going to be there, that's a great opportunity to do things like this, because I think they announced that just this week.
They did.
Where else can you do things like paint or, kind of get your art on it done at Walt Disney World?
So a lot of the DVC resorts have the painting classes, and I know that a lot of them are for DVC members only, but you can always ask to see at the front desk. They have their list of activities for the month. You can see if they have some sort of painting class available for, regular guests as well. So that's an option. The other option, and it was something that I talked about a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't sure if they were still doing it, but I saw confirmation that they were doing it very recently, and that's over at Emirates Patisserie. They actually have a class where you can go learn how to make a cake, because you know how they have their dome cakes. You could learn how to make one of their those there, and I think that that's a really cool thing. Plus, you get to take a cake with you, so that's even better.
Yes. Speaking of Scott again, the one time we took cake away from Top of the World.
Yes, this is a little different. Yeah.
Oh, that was a huge piece of cake. It was gigantic. Anyway, okay, next question. Help, please, for the most magical birthday ever, Sunday, December 16th. Oh, you got it in just in time, Allison. Let's see what we can do. Hi, Mike and team. Love the show. I booked the ultimate Disney Christmas package for my family of 4, my husband and 2 sons. They're 6 and 8. and arrives a couple days before the package starts. I guess they're getting there a couple days before the package starts, December 15th. Remember, I had to think about that. That's that package that includes candlelight processional, private dinner over at Epcot. What else did it come with? It came with tickets to the Christmas party.
Early entry, and you get to go and see
that's a sweet
Toy Story Land, and also Pandora. You get a night event in Pandora. So hello, that's a great package.
Yes. Okay, here's what she says. I have a pre-park opening breakfast at Be Our Guest for that Saturday the 16th, but I'm thinking about switching it to the early morning Magic Fantasyland package. This is my son's first trip to the world, and they will each have had a birthday the previous week. I'm leaning towards doing the early morning magic for two reasons. The magical feeling of having Fantasyland to ourselves, which you're going to like Friday's show, by the way, and because we only have another half day at the Magic Kingdom, plus the Christmas party, during which my plan is to focus on the party-specific elements, not the rides. The downside of arriving early and tacking on a park day is that I may need to pay for an extra day of park tickets. At that point, adding on early morning magic tips into the ridiculously expensive day territory, but the little voice inside my brain keeps saying it's a small price to pay for the most magical belated birthday ever. What to do? Thanks, Allison. And I get it, because if she adds on one day of Magic Your Way tickets, the first day is always the most expensive. It's always the most painful too. But I don't know, Ricky, what do you say? I mean, it sounds like she really wants to give them that exclusivity kind of feeling with because Chef Todd was just down at Walt Disney World, and he posted a picture of his daughter G at the studios during the extra morning magic thing, or whatever they call that, the early thing. And it had a picture of her on Hollywood Boulevard, and then about 100 yards down you can see where they're holding the day guests. Like the park wasn't open yet, but they had them kind of lined up there at the middle of Hollywood Sunset, and she was standing there with the biggest grin on her face because they're already in and they've had a good time. And the crowds are getting ready to, she was like, wait, it was like the greatest picture ever. Like, look at me, I'm ahead of everybody. And I think that's kind of what Allison's going to get. So I like her plan. I would say go for what she's got planned.
Well, and the thing is with the early morning magic now at the Magic Kingdom, you get 6 attractions that you have the option to take part in. So it's Peter Pan's Flight, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Winnie the Pooh, The Little Mermaid, and then there's 2 more that I'm blanking on. But there are 6 attractions that you have the ability to use. And then you get breakfast on top of that, and that's at Cosmic Rays. So I know that it's a little bit extra money, and it's for a family of 4. That's where it gets kind of hairy, is when you're looking at it for a family of 4. It's like, yowza! But you are getting breakfast included with that. So, and they were thinking about getting breakfast anyway, because weren't they thinking about Be Our Guest? Is that what the other? Okay.
The either or kind of thing. Yep.
So, I mean, if you think about it that way, I might consider doing the early morning magic. I just think that you get a decent amount with your money on that, especially at the Magic Kingdom.
I would say too, I think Ricky's right on the right track, Pam, because she's kind of already thinking about we're not going to have enough attraction time in the Magic Kingdom, and I think that's what she's going to get here, right, Pam? Because you also get the breakfast too. I mean, it's not a Be Our Guest breakfast, but it's breakfast, and the kids 6 and 8, who cares? They could have Hardee's, they wouldn't care. I'm telling you, I was a 6-8-year-old boy. I didn't care.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've heard just so many great things about those early morning events, that people really enjoy them. They feel like they're worth the money. And they get exposure to something that not everyone's going to get to do. And I think that's kind of a cool thing too. Just part of, sometimes that exclusivity sort of feels cool, to be in the Magic Kingdom with not that many people around. It's one of the things that initially made the party so fun. So I think that's the way I would lean as well.
All right. Have a great trip and a happy, happy birthday. And also, Sarah says she enjoys listening to the podcast. She's in her last week or 2 of school, and it's helping her get through it. So I know it's finals week at a lot of colleges. So good luck on your finals, everybody. Hang in there. Your break will be right around the corner. You can do it. I was there, and I'm so glad I'm not anymore. I posted on Twitter. I'm like, good luck on your finals. Oh, God, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. All right. Next question is from Julie. Listener question, Disney After Hours. Hi, Mike, Ricky, and Pam. We're planning to go to the Magic Kingdom for one single night prior to our Disney cruise. We won't be able to arrive to the park until about 2 p.m. We had a disappointing view of wishes on our last trip, so I already bought the happily ever after fireworks / dessert party tickets so we can have a good view. However, I just found out that Disney's offering the Magic Kingdom after hours the night we will be there. You know what? I think this is perfect for a situation like this where you got like one day.
Yes.
This is like nails for like post or pre-cruise. I love this idea. Anyway, I've heard it's a great experience and you can ride a lot of rides without the wait. Yes, Mark Yerkes in the chat, my good buddy up in Chicago, said he loves these things. This brings me to a dilemma because I don't want to pay for single day park tickets, fireworks dessert party tickets, and after hours tickets. If you had to drop one of those, which would you give up? Also, can you tell me your thoughts on Magic Kingdom after hours? We only get to Disney about once every 4 years, so I want to make our limited time special. Thanks for the podcast. Love listening every time. Julie. All right, okay, so I'm going to give this one to Pam first this time. So she's got the dessert party for wishes, which is fun and good. After hours and a single day ticket that's going to get him in. But again, she's not going to get there, she said, till 2 p.m. What do you drop, Pam? What do you do?
I think I may drop the single day ticket.
It's tough. Yeah, because you're only getting there at 2.
Then the after hours though doesn't start until after that. No, and you know what? The reason why I would keep the single day ticket thing that's going to be the kicker for me is the ability to make fast pass. You can't with those other things. Well, you don't need to, but you can't. But you can't. And I think it might give you access to some of the things that you need. So the thing I would probably cancel is dessert party. Not that I don't love the dessert parties, because I absolutely do, but the other two things are actually admission based, where the dessert party is really just having a better view for something. And that's probably what I would cancel. But I think all are a great buy. So I'm not, I mean, you know, I would think about doing all three still, but you know, I know you said you want to cancel one, so I'm trying to tell you what I would do.
All right, Ricky, what would you do?
I would actually cancel the one-day ticket, and here's why. I have heard that people, the thing that takes the most time for people is literally just walking to the attractions and walking on the rides at Disney After Hours. So, I mean, the park is empty. You get treats with it, so I would absolutely.
It's almost like it's because you get treats, so it's almost like a little rolling dessert party without the fire.
It is like a mini dessert party. Yeah. So, you know what? Now that you think about that, but she wants the spot for the fireworks, which is what I think her real thing is. So it's not necessarily about the dessert party. So I mean, you can see the fireworks relatively well from Main Street if you get your spot early. It just depends on how you feel about getting to your spot early. If you are taking advantage of Disney After Hours and you get in your spot pretty much when you walk into the park or not long after that, then you're still going to have a good spot, because you'd have to go to the dessert party right immediately as you get in anyway. So yeah, that is a tough one. I think that I would absolutely do Disney After Hours though. And then, whichever one that would be least disappointed with missing is the one that you should cancel for the other option. And in your heart which one that is, because when you think about canceling it and you go, oh, but that's the one I really wanted, then that's what you really wanted.
Captain Obvious. Okay.
I know.
I love you. It's so funny. All right.
I hate you so much.
Holiday season, that's what we do. All right. So anyway, that's out of time. So we're going to cut the questions there. We'll do some more next Wednesday. Thank you so much. Again, please don't forget, join me tonight, this Wednesday, December 12th at 7:15 Eastern. We're going to have a show. We're going to take your calls. We're going to talk about Marathon Weekend 2019. Any questions, comments, what you're looking forward to? If you're nervous about something, we're going to nurse you through that. So I'm going to post this on the Lizards. Anybody can call in. We're going to be talking Disney, best resorts, stuff like that. We're just going to get you ready for Marathon Weekend. I got an open slot this Wednesday night all of a sudden. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a good time. So join us right here on Facebook. It's going to be a good time. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by our friends at virtualmickey.com, home of great iPhone apps like Theme Park News, Disney Edition. Ricky, what are we reading about quickly this week on Theme Park News?
So if you are a fan of the video game Kingdom Hearts, have I got an event for you. So if you are going to be in Walt Disney World from December 14th through January 31st, you can be one of the very first people to get to see Kingdom Hearts 3. So you can be one of the first to play a demo of the game before it even comes out on January 29th. And this is taking place in the town center section of Disney Springs. So this sounds really cool for those who are fans of the Kingdom Hearts game. Because I know they've been waiting for a really long time for this game. So to be able to get a sneak preview of the game before it actually comes out is a really big deal for Kingdom Hearts fans.
All right. So you can find out these and other great stories, just be connected. Like right now I'm like in that thing. I can't pack yet. But man, I'm so excited to get down there. Like I'm thinking about my meals already. I was running this morning and I seriously came around the corner. I was thinking about my meals and I was like smiling. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning and I'm smiling because I'm like, I haven't had a meal at Pinocchio's Village House in quite a while. And I don't know why, but I just want to go there and like wave at the Small World boats and have lunch. I don't know. I'm going solo. So
I like that he wants to have lunch at Pinocchio's.
I haven't been there. I just want to give it a shot. You know what? I'm a simple man,
That's right.
Anyway, so great news there. Theme Park News Disney Edition. Check out these and other great apps to turn your Apple device into a Disney device right now over at virtualmickey.com. Give us a follow on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. And of course, we got a great Facebook page where you can see this video at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. And check out the YouTube channel as well. It's youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, we're going to get out of here. And, we'll be back again together on Friday where we're going back because one of our listeners asked for this last Wednesday. We're going to do a Trapped In that we started that series, but we're going to be trapped in Fantasyland. What if we had to spend an entire day not leaving Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom? What would we do? What attractions? Where would we eat? What characters would we meet? What would we do to entertain ourselves between those things? It's going to be a great show. So join us again on Friday. And until then, for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday, but it's time to head back to work. And we'll see you real soon. All right, that's a good one. Good. Hey, you guys rocked in the chat today again.
That's right.
For sure.
All right.
I just remembered, Mike, I may not be able to make Wednesday. I have a massage Wednesday, and it ends at 7. So my house isn't that far away from the massage place, but we'll see.
You can call in.
First world problems, right?
I don't feel bad for you.
I know. I'm the worst. But no, it'll depend on what time I get out of it. So I know it's supposed to go till 7, so we'll see what time I get out.
Okay, here we go. 1420. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1420 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. You made it. Yes, it's the weekend. It's probably going to be a busy one. So many holiday things happening around the country, around the world. Of course, you're probably doing some last minute shopping. It's never done. It means I got to get started here pretty soon. 2 days. I got 2 day shipping. I'm good. I'm still got plenty of time. I don't have to sweat it yet. We're going to have a great time today. Going back to one of our series that we started probably over a year ago. We probably haven't done a show in this series for over a year, probably a couple of years we started it. But it's going to be one of those Trapped In series where we're going to be trapped in Fantasyland. And we're going to talk about, if you had to spend an entire day in the Magic Kingdom's Fantasyland, what would we do? Where would we eat? What attractions would we ride? What characters would we meet? Where would we shop? Where would we snack? And when I thought about this earlier today, so much to do in Fantasyland, you really literally could spend an entire day here and not have too many problems. So joining me today for this fun conversation, we have Ricky from a DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, touringplans.com, and the Mouse for Less. What's going on, Ricky?
I am actually pretty much all done Christmas shopping. So yay me. I've been really accomplished this year, I feel like. So usually I'm like you, Mike, and struggling going, oh no, it's only like a week and a half before Christmas. But this year I'm on it and I feel awesome about myself. So
how does that feel? I would have no idea. Yeah, toot your own horn.
Yes.
All right. Also joining us, and I'm sure she's probably done with that gift shopping, we have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday, Pam.
Happy Friday. I'm not quite done, but it's stuff that I think about a lot, throughout the year. So, I don't get stressed about it. I don't put anything off until I get stressed. So I think that's the biggest thing. You don't want the holidays to be stressful. So, I make it.
Yes.
You know what? I am totally stressed really until, for me, it's like Christmas Eve, mid-morning is when I kind of just like, all bets are off. You can't order anything else anymore on Amazon. All the stores are closed. All the restaurants are closed. And we head out to my in-laws out, and they kind of live out in the country. If you're in Missouri, it's in Moscow Mills, which is kind of a rural area of St. Louis. And, the family all gathers there. All the kids are there. They have just a ridiculous amount of presents under the tree for all the kids and the big kids. And, it's just like everything, that's when I actually get to be like, whew, this is awesome. Because really until then, it's stressful. Because you're always thinking I forgot somebody, or, I should send a text message, or, once you get to Christmas Eve, it's smooth sailing. So I can't wait. And it's going to be here like less than 2 weeks now. Oh,
what?
Okay.
Yeah, it's not far away.
All right. Anyway, we're gonna escape here for about 30 to 40 minutes.
I think we need it now.
What? I gotta take off my Santa hat. I'm sweating. So we're wrapped in Fantasyland. So we're gonna talk about, what things are there to do. I know a lot of folks are planning maybe first trips to Walt Disney World. This can be something that's like a primer for what to expect when you go to the Magic Kingdom and you go through Fantasyland. But for those folks that have been there 60, 70, 80 times, just kind of getting your mind's eye there. What would you do if you were trapped there from rope drop till the park closes? You cannot leave the boundaries of Fantasyland. And yes, we are including the new Fantasyland. And yes, we are including Storybook Circus. So we have this easy peasy, baby. All right. So first thing, we go there in the morning, rope drop. We're stuck in the magic. We're like locked into Fantasyland. We're not stuck. It's pretty much a dream of mine. But you're locked into the Magic Kingdom. Can't leave the boundaries. Can't go into Tomorrowland. Can't go into Liberty Square. Can't go through the castle on Main Street, USA. Pam, what do you think about when you think about we're trapped in Fantasyland, in your mind's eye, where are you standing? Because you could be standing many, many places kind of as you think about this on a Friday here.
I actually am standing behind the castle. That's the view that I have when I think about being in Fantasyland. I actually love that view of the castle. I think it's something that sometimes you don't take the time to look at, right?
Yes.
And it's really such a different perspective, the castle, from that side. But I can see the carousel, and I really appreciate that. I like the sound coming from the carousel. I like that view. And if you look through the doorway there, the archway, sometimes you can see right down into Main Street, which I really like that view as well. So yeah, Fantasyland.
Yeah, I think too, you mentioned kind of the backside of the castle. If you're in Fantasyland looking towards Main Street, USA, it's a different kind of beauty, but it is beautiful in its own way. And the thing is, I think that, like you said, many people tend to rush through there and, don't consider that's just as, neat looking. I think that a lot of times it's a point A to point B kind of thing from the back to the front. Of course, everybody stops when you're going the opposite way. When you're coming from Main Street into Fantasyland through Cinderella Castle, everybody stops, takes pictures. I do it every time. I think a great picture is to kind of look up at the castle and get like a tall one, like where it, extends out into the sky. That's always a fun picture.
Right.
That's a good point there. So Ricky, when you think of okay, I'm stuck in Fantasyland for the entire day, we're going to talk about this. Where are you standing in your mind's eye today?
It's so crazy, but that same exact picture that Pam was talking about is exactly what was in my mind's eye of, standing in Fantasyland. There's something just so special about being able to see the castle and being able to have the carousel, near you, hearing the melodic tone of the carousel going. And there's just something so really, really magical. I mean, it really is the Magic Kingdom right there. I mean, that's right there. I know that so many people, like you say, think about the front half of the castle, the front part of the castle when they think of magical, but really there is something so special about seeing the backside of the castle and hearing the music from Fantasyland. And that's it, man. That just takes you right there.
And see, when I think about being trapped in Fantasyland, like we're talking about today, the first thing that popped into my mind's eye when I started to kind of think about this is that I'm walking in that pathway with Peter Pan on my left, Small World on my right, Pinocchio's Village House on my right, PhilharMagic kind of to my left. But to me, because this is when I first really fell in love with Walt Disney World. You know, it was the place that I just longed to be in. I still do. Like, this was the heart of the Magic Kingdom, was that walkway. Like, if you're walking towards the Haunted Mansion, towards Liberty Square, you know, towards Columbia Harbor House, that where you walk under by Memento Mori, you're walking there, and there's sounds, and it's always a madhouse, really, because, you know, Peter Pan's busy, Small World's busy, strollers everywhere. Now you have the tangled restroom area to the upper right there, if you're picturing this in your mind's eye today. It's the essence of basically now what I consider the old Fantasyland, you know, because it's those attractions that are beloved. You know, you got Peter Pan and the sounds coming from there. You can look over. And the cool thing about these attractions is, you know, that it's a lot different than most attractions at Walt Disney World. Is you can peek in and see the ride vehicles. You know, as you're walking by, you get to see the sailing, you know, the flying ships of Peter Pan. Of course, you see tons of people queuing up to get on that ride, and you can tell it's very busy. But also, when you look into Small World, you get that glimpse of the clock and the decorations, and you can actually peek down and see the boats. It's just, that's where I'm picturing when I'm in my mind's eye. I mean, if somebody says you're in Fantasyland, that's where I am. Okay, so we're starting the day, Pam. Best bet to have a breakfast in Fantasyland.
So there are lots of good choices depending on whether you want to do, well, no, I won't say lots, but whether you want to do quick service or table service or what. And I think I might, you know, if I'm spending the day there and I'm sort of trapped in Fantasyland, I think I'm going to lean towards Cinderella's Royal Table for breakfast. And the reason is that I like that experience. I think it's kind of a cool way to start the day, especially since you're going to be there all day. You're going to have plenty of time to do things. So why not start it out with a sort of magical experience? And I know that there's lots of children and adults as well, who really look forward to this meal. I mean, having, you know, a meal with Cinderella in her castle, of all places, is a cool thing. And they have some cool entrees to choose from. They have it's sort of a mixture of a plated meal and then some things that are served to the whole table. You get a pastry plate when you first sit down, and, you know, I mean, that's a good way to start breakfast, first of all, right? Pastry.
Johanna breakfast. I love that. Oh, man.
Right. I know. But they have a traditional breakfast. They have a caramel apple stuffed French toast. They have a quiche. They have a healthy choice. Push that aside.
Yeah, who wants that?
Whatever. You're in Fantasyland, man. You don't need to worry about your health.
They have a beef tenderloin and egg, and then they have a shrimp and grits. So that's actually the healthy choice doesn't sound bad. It's oatmeal, multigrain croissant with avocado and a poached egg with arugula. So you can have that. So all of those are pretty good. Since they have allowed the Magic Kingdom to have alcohol at the table service locations, you can get a mimosa, which would be good, or Prosecco and peach juice. Yum. So think about those things. Kids can choose from a royal children's breakfast with a waffle, sausage, and fruit, or a traditional children's breakfast with scrambled egg, bacon, and home fries, or some cereal. They also have a kids' cheese frittata. So lots of things from which to choose there. But I think it just sort of is a magical start to the day. I think it's a great way to start.
Agreed. Now I'm going the opposite direction for breakfast. I'm just going over to Gaston, and I've done this like my last 2 or 3 trips. The big old cinnamon roll at Gaston's Tavern, which Jennifer mentioned, Jennifer O'Neill in our live chat as we're recording. Man, that's just a cool place to sit down, and because when you have a cinnamon roll and like a Coke Zero, you're eating it like in 10 minutes. And it's just a cool, like, you don't want to spend a lot of time in Gaston's Tavern, but for 10 minutes, kind of look around, see the decorations. There's only probably about 10 tables, but it's a cool place to check out in New Fantasyland. So, Ricky, what would you consider for breakfast?
Well, I mean, if I'm not going for the cinnamon roll, I am going for Be Our Guest. I mean, you've got the fantastic breakfast options that they have there. So it's kind of an interesting breakfast in the sense that they bring you like a basket of pastries for the table to share, and then you get to choose an entree. And they have things like the Feast a la Gaston, which is scrambled eggs and potatoes and bacon and sausage. So you got that obviously traditional kind of breakfast right there. And then you've got that kind of charcuterie board feeling with the assorted cured meats and cheeses as an option. The open-faced bacon and egg sandwich, the open-faced bacon and egg sandwich. And then you've got, of course, because it's a traditional French restaurant, so you've got the croque madame, which is an open-faced ham sandwich with fried egg, cheese, and fresh fruit on the side. You've got the healthy option. Again, we don't really want to talk about that, but that's scrambled egg whites with roasted tomatoes and a multigrain croissant, which doesn't sound bad, but you're at the Magic Kingdom and it's breakfast time, so you're gonna go all in. And by going all in, you're gonna get the croissant donut for breakfast. So it's the fried donut topped with banana caramel sauce, pastry cream, and chocolate ganache. Yes, that is what you're doing. So the good thing about breakfast here is that it's kind of a set price. So it's all prefixed, and it's $25 as of right now for the breakfast options. So you kind of know where you stand. That includes a drink as well. So that part's nice too. And yeah, it's just kind of a great little breakfast option. And of course they have options for kids as well, which are delicious too, French toast and crepes and things like that. So I'm surprised they actually don't have crepes on the adult menu for breakfast, because that seems like that would make so much sense, but
okay.
Oh well.
Okay,
yeah.
so
it's a French restaurant. You'd expect there to be crepes.
It's still breakfast. Oh no, sorry, not breakfast for dinner. So let me ask you this though, because we so much in Fantasyland. So let's just kind of we're in there. I'm going to ask all three of us. I'm going to ask myself first. Most underrated. I'm going to go with most underrated attraction that I'd want to experience in Fantasyland. And I would say Enchanted Tales with Belle. It doesn't get as much buzz as it used to, and I go past it every time. Of course, if I'm going on a solo trip like I am for Princess and for Marathon, I probably won't go to this attraction by myself. But I like, Mallory's getting older. She'll be 11 in January. So it's a little bit out of her wheelhouse now, but every time we've gone to that, it is such a unique and well done, almost like extended meet and greet with a story, with an interactive story. That I love that attraction. It's Disney at its best. So I'm going to say that's a really underrated thing in Fantasyland. Pam, what would you say? Something else maybe underrated as an attraction in Fantasyland?
And so I think Mickey's PhilharMagic is sort of underrated. And the reason I say that is the last time we were there and I did it, the audience still has the same reaction. And it's one that I love to hear. At different times during the movies, they'll all go, oh, or because it's a 3D movie. When Ariel
comes out.
Or when Ariel throws her gems, there's people reaching for the gems. And it's just such a cool thing. I'd love to see the guests sort of interact with an attraction like that. It really shows that it's sort of close to their heart and they're sort of buying into it. So I think Mickey's PhilharMagic, I remember when it first opened, but it still has a great attraction. It has some great things in it.
That's my wife's favorite. Like, we have to do that multiple times every trip.
That's funny.
Attraction. Yeah, it must be a Pam thing.
It is a Pam thing.
All right, Ricky, what do you say? What's something else that maybe, because, we have listeners that are going for the first time. We heard from a listener, Samantha, on Wednesday. She's going to be looking at all the headliners because she's been listening to the podcast, reading the books and all that stuff. But what's something you might experience in Fantasyland? Like, oh, that was cooler than I was expecting.
100%. It is the quintessential, one of the quintessential Disney attractions, and that is the Mad Tea Party. There is just something so fun about getting in those teacups, spinning around until you get sick. I mean, me and my brother, when we get on the attraction, he says, hang on, I got this. And then he proceeds to whip us around just completely into a frenzy. So, and I'm just giggling because we're having so much fun. So, for 30-year-olds to sit there and be giggling is a good time. So I think the whole family is going to enjoy it.
And you know what? And I think too, with Mad Tea Party, one of the underrated things, it is kind of a forgotten attraction considering it's dead in the center. It's kind of
exactly.
But you get great pictures there. I mean, like if you're looking for something that's Instagrammable, a picture on the Mad Tea Party. That's cool.
Mhm.
And even at night, if you got a good camera, you got the right effect, you can get kind of the streaking of the lights, because there's really cool lights under that big top or the whatever.
Yeah, there.
Yep.
It's kind of cool. Okay, so there's a lot to get in. So we're going to kind of be jumping all around the place, but hopefully, it's a Friday. We're having a good time. Character meet and greets. So let's talk about the opportunity to meet some of your favorite characters within the boundaries of Fantasyland. So Ricky, what are we talking about? Who can we meet if we can't leave? Because there's actually a ton of characters you can meet in Fantasyland. So who are we meeting here?
There really are so many characters to meet in Fantasyland, and one of them that I think is, in a way, a little underrated, but always also busy as all get out, is the Merida meet and greet. It's in the Fairy Tale Garden. So
we forgot.
yes, see, exactly. I wanted to go with one that nobody thinks about. So it's actually kind of located along the walkway. It is still considered in Fantasyland, but it's located along the walkway that's kind of near Cosmic Rays in a way, and it's kind of tucked behind Cheshire Cafe. And here you get to meet Merida in a really unique setting. She's got, a bunch of the. I know one time the brothers were I think featured, like I think they had like a cart that the brothers like were on. They were as bear, dressed as bears. I don't know if they do that anymore, but it's got a really unique setting. The setting actually used to be the location for where Enchanted Tales of Belle used to be a long time ago. So when Belle got her brand new location, it was the perfect time to bring in Merida. And, as sassy sort of redhead with curly hair, I love the fact that, they have a Merida meet and greet at Walt Disney World.
My memory of that one is we went to that like the day it opened. Like it opened over the summer while we were there one time. We waited 2.5 hours to meet her. And you were queued up kind of along that path up to the castle, kind of up to the smoking area back there. And it was so hot. But I remember when we went in, and I believe it's still the same case, like they did a good job of like the kids could color pictures on like picnic tables, or they had like little bows and arrows, like suction cups. Of course, they weren't real.
Right.
But I mean, like they could, practice like little archery skills. It gave them a distraction until they got that really, 2 to 3 minute, experience with Merida. It wasn't just like, hey, get your picture, get out of here, kid. It was like you got to talk to her for a second, and the character for that character meet and greet was authentic. I mean, it was Disney did that one. They hit a home run with that one. So Pam, what else? I mean, we're looking for character meet and greets. That's really what fantasy is all about, meeting these fantastical characters. So who else can we meet within the boundaries of Fantasyland?
So you can also still go into Princess Fairy Tale Hall and meet some princesses. Now, it's not quite as popular as it was when Elsa and Anna were there.
No.
Well, I've waited a long time.
Thank goodness. But you can still meet some great princesses there, Cinderella or Rapunzel or whoever else may be in there. It sort of does vary sometimes from time to time, but you can do that. And the other people you can meet there, of course, are Winnie the Pooh and friends, who greet over by Winnie's attraction there. And I think that those are great characters too. I think that those are kids that appeal to, sometimes a younger set. And one more thing I want to mention too, in Storybook Circus, which is part of Fantasyland as well, you also have some sideshow character greetings there where you get to meet some characters. And one of the ones that you get to meet, I believe, is Daisy. And you don't get to see Daisy very many places. So if you really want to see her, you can see her there.
And two, if you keep a heads up when you're walking around Fantasyland, now these aren't necessarily things that you're going to see all the time. Like these, the ones we've spoken to right now are pretty much like, you can count on them. They have time. But every once in a while, you might see Alice by the teacups. You might see Gaston back by Gaston's Tavern. I'm trying to think. You might see the stepsisters. I believe Alan mentioned that here in the live chat. You'll see them kind of pop out sometimes by like that palace wall near Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So just keep your heads up. If you were there for the entire day, chances are you might experience a character that you weren't expecting kind of walking around.
True. It's true. I actually saw the stepsisters with Cinderella, at different times there. So I think that that's really cool to see too.
All right, let's talk shopping within the boundaries of Fantasyland. And of course, I think all of us are going to say probably the best store, probably in the Magic Kingdom, I would say, any of the lands, is Big Top Treats, back in Storybook Circus. So Ricky, talk to us about this store. Because I think we all agree this is kind of a special place to go. It's a this place to go. But why is it so special? What does it have?
Everything you possibly could ever want. I mean, seriously, there are things for all age ranges. This is kind of the biggest store in the Magic Kingdom besides the Emporium. So if you're looking for something kind of unique that they maybe don't have in the Emporium, this is going to be a good place to go. They have a lot of the limited edition merchandise for like the party nights and things like that too. So if you're ever like looking for something that is a party exclusive thing, this is where you want to go, because the Emporium is always so busy. Plus, in addition to having just everything under the sun Disney merchandise, they also have a fantastic snack confectionery area. Oh my goodness, this thing is stocked. I mean, if you are looking for something sweet, they have it. They have the caramel apples, they have the marshmallow ones, they have the cake pops, they have everything you possibly could want here. The giant cookies, I mean, everything. So if you have a sweet tooth, and I think they have the glacial ices too here too. I don't get those, but I think that they're there as well. So honestly, this place I could spend all day in this store.
What it is,
because there's so much here. I mean, there's so much in this store.
It's almost like an annex to the confectionery, because it's like, the confectionery is up at the very beginning of the park, up on Main Street USA as you right enter the park. So you might want to go there on the way out. But man, that confectionery with the open kitchen back in Storybook Circus, Big Top Treats is awesome. I mean, Pam, it's always a destination for me. Like if we don't get back there to get a snack or just it's a good place to cool off too in the summertime. But what do you think?
It is. It's a fun place to be. And it really does just have a little bit of everything, really and truly it does. There's all kinds of souvenirs there. And then it's like the little snacks as well. It's almost like a smaller Goofy's Kitchen, but not really that much smaller when you think about it. Maybe the menu's a little bit smaller, but they have lots of things that they're making right there, and we love that too. I think it's a great place to shop.
So I'm trying to think of the smaller places to shop within Fantasyland. So you have a store outside of Mickey's PhilharMagic that has a lot of, I believe it still has like a lot of Donald Duck type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As I recall. So you got some things there. Is Sir Mickey still there? I haven't been in that store.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is it still there?
Yep.
Yes, and then the shop over by Pooh as well.
Yes.
By the exit of the Pooh, where the Pooh.
By the exit where the Pooh is. Yes.
Make sure we don't sample that piece. Okay. No, but I mean, so Sir Mickey's, I believe it used to be kind of like mostly like a hat shop, but now it's kind of just general merchandise, right?
Yeah, it is. Last time I was near there, they were working on that too, I think, with Sir Mickey's over there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else is there.
I don't think it was the end of the shopping. I think that might be it.
Oh, no, there's something over by Belle.
Yes, there's a lot of Be Our Guest stuff there. So, because Ricky has shopped there before. Yeah, there's a shop by Enchantals with Bella. It has a lot of Beauty and the Beast merchandise.
Yeah.
How have I missed that? I don't think I've ever gone in there. See, I love.
Yeah, it's right. It's on the other side. So if you're looking at Gaston's Tavern, it's right on the right hand side.
You know what? Here's a question I have for you. Let me ask Ricky. How many people do you think actually go back into Gaston's Tavern? Like a percentage of guests? I would say maybe less than 5%.
Like into Gaston's Tavern?
I know you're kind of talking about like where the cart is for Belle's dad's, the popcorn cart, kind of back in there.
Yeah, you know where the Gaston, like the statue is. It's right. It's to the right of that. There's the shop there.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying though at this point is like it's recessed so back off the main path. How many people go back there? Because I think most people kind of follow the path.
I mean, you have to go back there if you want to go ride, a Little Mermaid too. So, I think that it gets more people than you think it does. But I think that a lot of people do miss it because they don't know that they can go back beyond, the castle walls like Disney has, the castle walls of the forecourt. So, I don't know that people know. A lot of people know that they can go back there, but I think a fair number do end up getting back there.
All right, so we're grabbing lunch. It's lunchtime now. We've kind of talked about things to do within Fantasyland, but we need to get a quick lunch. We don't need to go like into detail with all the menus, but Pinocchio's Village House, it's not a bad. It's trending up, right? I mean, 5 years ago, it was kind of a nightmare. I would say a lot of people try to avoid Pinocchio's, but maybe Pam, do you think it's getting better? Have you been there lately? I haven't been there in a while.
I haven't been there lately. And I don't love the. I mean, I realize that it's an Italian themed restaurant for Pinocchio, which is where the story came from. But I don't love like getting things like chicken parmesan and spaghetti at a quick service location. It's just not my favorite. It's just not my favorite.
You know what? One of my favorite place to eat in St. Louis is Fazoli's, and it's kind of the same thing. Just more.
That's true.
If I'm getting either of those dishes, I want them to be at a truly authentic Italian restaurant and not a quick service. So, it's not my favorite, but I will say that they do have flatbreads. They do have salad that I know I've gotten there. And the cool thing about Pinocchio's is there are a few tables, probably only 4 or so, that have windows that sort of look over the Small World attraction, and that's kind of a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah, that's actually, I do want to have a lunch there over Marathon weekend and kind of look down and just chill and enjoy it, taking the atmosphere, because I think that place, what it lacks maybe in food quality might make up in just Disney overall atmosphere. That's kind of how I see it. I mean, again, that's one of those things that I remember like 15 years ago, I read in a guidebook, like, hot tip. Eat at Pinocchio's Village House and wave to the boats on Small World. That's probably in a Birnbaum's guide somewhere. It's probably why
it was absolutely the Birnbaum's guide. Yeah.
That's it. I still want to live the 15-year-old, a long time ago hot tip. That's it. So Ricky, where else can we have a lunch within Fantasyland?
I mean, it's kind of you are at the Magic Kingdom, right? You're on vacation, so you might as well, again, splurge, right? So just like you're going to get the croissant donut for breakfast, you're going to go to Friar's Nook and you're going to get their tachos, basically. They're not called tachos there, but they have lots of different options of tater tots, and they have loaded buffalo chicken tots and fiesta tots and pub tots and brats and tots, and I'm all in from the tots. So
it's like, here's what it is. It's like what you would order at Jack in the Box at 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday.
Exactly. Except for mine, maybe it won't give you heartburn, so I don't know, maybe it will. But I mean, these sound absolutely fantastic. There's so many choices. And it's a meal in one, so I'm going all in on the tots at Friar's Nook.
So that's good. All right, so let's talk about this. As it starts to get dark at the Magic Kingdom, we're stuck in Fantasyland. Do we all agree one of the best places to be at night? Fantasyland?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Definitely.
So the good thing is you can see the fireworks. Now, the thing is, if you want to watch the fireworks, especially with Happily Ever After now, and this was different 10 years ago, if you're watching Wishes, wasn't that big a deal. But you can still see really cool fireworks within Fantasyland. You're seeing it from the backside of the castle. Now, they do close off that area up by PhilharMagic and the carousel, and it makes it kind of a traffic nightmare during fireworks. But fireworks, nonetheless, you get to see. You just don't see the projection. So, Pam, what would you say to folks that maybe want to stake out a place? Not good for a first-timer, right? But maybe for somebody that's just trying to do some flyby fireworks.
Yeah, I agree. One of the places that we've actually kind of liked watching them is back where we can see Belle's castle. Well, the Beast Castle, which I guess he shares with Belle at this point. I don't know. I'm saying.
Not sure.
But anyways, because you can catch some of the fireworks sort of there with Belle's castle, and I think that's kind of a unique perspective as well. Now, some of the fireworks are actually in front of you at that point, but that's kind of a cool view as well. I really like seeing it from back there.
Yeah, I agree. So, Ricky, have you seen because I know you're not somebody that usually stops and kind of, stakes out a spot for an hour, but because I've seen them in Fantasy, the one thing you got to watch is like, you got to kind of go, look left, look right, because some of them are going off like it feels like off the Small World building. Some of them are going off, the PhilharMagic building. Like you're not, it's not like you're standing on Main Street and everything's like in front of you and you see it everywhere. You got to kind of twist your head.
Right, exactly. I mean, right there in the middle of Fantasyland, I think, I typically, if I'm catching it like over the carousel. It was usually where I'm ended up, watching kind of on the way toward Peter Pan and It's a Small World, right there in that walkway is usually where I'm catching it. So, it's a good spot to view it, I think, because you've got the carousel there. So it's a kind of unique position to see it.
And you know what? We've gotten 30 minutes into the show, and this is what I can't believe, like all three of us, we've gotten 30 minutes into the show. What's the one attraction in Fantasyland that we still have not mentioned?
Seven Dwarfs.
Seven Dwarfs, yeah.
Because that's probably your best for a thrill. If you want to have a thrill in Fantasyland, Seven Dwarfs where you're going. And it's great because it's a combo dark ride kind of situation and a roller coaster, mild roller coaster. I think it's good for everybody. But the one thing I was thinking of is Dumbo. Think about a decade ago. Even touring plans had a plan that was called Dumbo or Die, because it was so hard to get on that attraction if you didn't get there right at rope drop and run back there and get on it. Ricky, with Dumbo now, of course, now we got the dueling Dumbos. You got two. You got one for Fast Pass, one for Standby. This attraction is 100 times better than it was a decade ago. Better location. It's beautiful at night. There's two of them. You don't wait as long. You got the queue where the kids can play until it's your time. You get buzzed. Boom, you get on the ride. I mean, it's 1,000 times better experience for the guests, yet it's so less popular now. What's the rationale there?
Well, I think because it has the dueling Dumbos, there's more people who can actually get on the attraction. So because of that, the wait times I don't think are as high. Also, it's not right there in the middle of Fantasyland where everybody's walking past it. So you do have, it is a little more off to the side in Storybook Circus. So you do not only have to, get into Storybook Circus and walk past it, but then it's not in the forefront of everybody's mind because they're not walking past it constantly. So I think that has something to do with it as well. You really have to kind of seek out Dumbo instead of Dumbo seeking you out, which is, I think, what used to happen.
Well, that is true. I mean, Pam, what do you think? I mean, was it like in the old days, it was location, location, location? I mean, is the theme park guest, kind of changed what their expectation is in attraction, where this basically is a spinner, but I mean, it was the picture you wanted to have from your vacation. You're right. It's so much better. It's beautiful. It's so much, but I mean, it doesn't have the location it used to have.
It doesn't. And the fact that there are two of them now, I think it's just really decreased the time it takes for loading. There really is something to be said with when you roll up on something and you see a bunch of people in line, you think to yourself, wow, I want to experience that. And at that time, there wasn't something like Fast Pass. So you got in line. You did. And I think, too, Disney's done a really good job of having other attractions and shows and things that appeal to toddlers or younger age children, which is what Dumbo really appealed to, right? It really appealed to younger kids. And there are so many things that just are there now that weren't there before.
So a couple things we haven't talked about here as we're kind of getting to the end of the show. We haven't talked about Little Mermaid, which is in New Fantasyland. And Ricky, why is it that we've gotten this far and not talked about that attraction? We haven't talked about Barnstormer.
I think that those aren't necessarily headliners anymore. I mean, as we kind of talked about on Wednesday's podcast, where somebody was talking about making fast passes. And that rolling fast pass, whenever I go to the Magic Kingdom, I can almost always get a rolling fast pass for Little Mermaid or Barnstormer. I just think that, especially Little Mermaid, it really does eat people because it is an omnimover. So I think that it takes up people very well. And Barnstormer, I mean, it's kind of got a set age range. I mean, yeah, you can ride it as an adult, but it really is like a 30-second ride. So, the appeal of riding a 30-second ride.
That thing fits me like a glove being 6'3".
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little more difficult, but I think that that's why I think they're two very different attractions, and I think that that's probably why they're not as talked about. They're both very good, but they're just not those headliner things, I don't think, anymore.
Yeah, they're kind of like both of those are like they're you got to have like secondary attractions that you're doing. Well, and the thing is, like, you can walk up to those, like you said. So that's good to think about. So, Pam, as we kind of get close to wrapping this one up, for someone that's going to Fantasyland that doesn't have a lot of experience with everything that it has to offer, because it's got good dining, it's got good shopping, it's got great snacking, it's got characters. I mean, it really does have, you go to Walt Disney World for a lot of, you're checking off a lot of things you're looking forward to. Fantasyland really, within its boundaries, has really everything you're looking for in this one land. But give somebody some tips. What do you not need to miss? Because we haven't talked about things like, really, we didn't spend much time with Small World or Peter Pan, touring strategies. What do you have for somebody to get the most out of a little period of time in Fantasyland?
So for me, I think that there is just something about Peter Pan that just, really pulls at the nostalgic strings in your heart. I remember doing it as a child and absolutely believing that we were flying. I mean, I just did. The line for Peter Pan is still awesomely long at most times of the day. So try to do that either first thing in the morning or during a time when, let's say, there's the fireworks or the parade that's drawing some people out of that area. I think that there are lots of good little snacking opportunities in Fantasyland. You have the storybook treats, and you also have the Friar's Nook, and there's some locations that just have some interesting snacks, like the Cheshire Cat. I know that the cattail sort of snack is wildly popular. People love that. But there's just some cute little things that you can only get, sort of in Fantasyland. That's not really something that's offered in a bunch of different locations. And of course, we talked about, different tot offerings are there too. So consider that. I think be prepared for, there are little narrow sort of throughways in Fantasyland that make it challenging at times. And you just have to sort of pack a little patience, right? When you're in Fantasyland, there's a lot of parents, there's a lot of kids, there's a lot of people who may be overtired, overheated, whatnot. And just let all that kind of roll off your back, because it really is so charming. And the other thing about Fantasyland that I think is something that you're going to want to note is that Fantasyland absolutely has two of the best bathrooms in the Magic Kingdom. The Tangled bathroom and the bathroom back by Be Our Guest are both new. They're large, and it's just, there's no other way to say it other than this is where I choose to use the restroom, is in Fantasyland when I'm there, because I like the bathrooms there.
Hey, if you're going to be trapped in Fantasyland, you got to go,
That's right. Right. If I'm going to be there all day.
Got to take care of everything. So, Ricky, here's what my tips. If I'm going to give a couple tips on Fantasyland, it's best experience first thing in the morning or later in the evening between like 10 and 3. It's kind of a nightmare a lot of times. It's really, especially in the summer, can get really bogged down and kids are cranky. And I mean, that's where all the little kids are going to be. That's just where they are, because they can ride all those attractions. And there's not a lot of shade there. So you got to kind of, get inside every once in a while. It can get kind of hot back there in the summer. So your final tips for experiencing Fantasyland.
I mean, Fantasyland, as we've kind of shared, really does have something for everyone. And yes, even the kid at heart, even, a huge Uber person who thinks I'm not excited to go to Walt Disney World. There's something there that will put a smile on their face.
Well, Fantasyland is why you go to Walt Disney World. I mean, it really
exactly. It 100% is. So, again, like you said, there are times where you definitely need to pack your patience when visiting Fantasyland. But there are some great hidden surprises all around the land. It's absolutely beautiful, especially once you get to the new areas, the Enchanted Forest area, and of course the Storybook Circus area. Also, if you've got little ones, the Storybook Circus area is so fantastic because they do have the play area back there. Do make sure you bring some sort of change of clothes, because it's a water play area and they will get drenched. You may also want to watch out for yourself if you have to run in there to get the little one, because you will get drenched too. So.
It's like the old American Gladiators. You got to time it just right so Zap doesn't get you with the tennis ball gun.
Exactly. And I mean, You're 100% right on that. So, but there really is something. And of course, there's one other thing we didn't discuss too, and that's the train. You can pick up the train here in Storybook Circus. So if you are wanting to take that mode of transportation, there is a station here as well.
All right, can't ride it right now, but you could be listening to the show
No.
10 years from now, and you probably ride the train again. So
That's right. Yes.
All right. Well, we hope that today we try to make these. We try to be like Disney. It's try to be a little bit educational, maybe to help you plan a little bit better strategy for your time in Fantasyland. But maybe you're out on a long training run here for Princess or Marathon Weekend as you're wrapping up your training cycle, and hey, maybe we just got 2 or 3 miles behind you, just thinking about your favorite place. So that's kind of a goal too. Maybe it got you to work or got you through power grading some papers or your final studying here for finals. So that's the goal, and we appreciate you spending the time with us. So thank you so much for joining us. Today's show, of course, brought to you by our friends over at the Magic for Less Travel. When it comes time for that next trip to a Disney destination, and you've got, lots of places you could go. Of course, Walt Disney World, Disneyland. But maybe in 2019, think outside the box and maybe expand your horizons with a Disney cruise, or even, see some of the world the best way possible with an Adventures by Disney, because they're going to let you have access to things that you are not going to get otherwise. First class service. I mean, you want to travel like a rock star. That's Adventures by Disney. So what I'm going to ask you to do today is drop by the magicforless.com. Check out all the great specials, all the details, all the destinations. It's all there. There's menus, there's pictures, there's photos of the resorts. There's everything you need to kind of get everything rolling. And then once you kind of just get an idea of what you might want to do here moving into 2019, fill out that free no obligation quote form. Let them know you heard about them here on the Be Our Guest podcast. An agent will get back to you right away. And let's run some numbers, some availability, and that's where the conversation starts. The relationship gets formed, and then you're planning a great vacation. No cost to you. Disney pays the agents, not you, so you're in good shape. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. And don't forget, please support the show through our Amazon affiliate link as you do that holiday shopping. We truly, truly appreciate that. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And we appreciate when you give us a follow on the social media. We want to hear from you. What would you do in Fantasyland? Give us a holler on Twitter and Instagram at BeOurGuestPod and at BeOurGuestMike. And of course, drop by the Facebook group at facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, time to get out of here and let you get on with a fun weekend. We're going to have a good one, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you an awesome weekend. But whatever you do, stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. Good stuff. Good job.
Yay!
Girl.
Awesome.
Save that because that was a good
Fantastic.
one. You guys rocked again. It did. That was fun. I like those a lot. I think we kind of hit everything. I don't think we left.
We definitely hit everything.
We hit a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
We did.
All right. Well, you guys have a good.
All right.
Everything sounded great this week, and thanks for hanging with me last week. I know I was a bear.
Awesome.
Thanks. No worries.
All right.
And I'll try to be here on Wednesday if I can. So.
Just text me. All
Okay.
right.
Awesome. See y'all.
Right.
And everybody,
Bye.
on Facebook. See you Wednesday live.
Bye, Facebook.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.